Virtual routing and forwarding provides logical network segmentation. It virtualizes the IP routing control and data plane functions. For each virtual routing and forwarding instance, there are independent routing and forwarding decisions made, and the IP version 4 and IP version 6 unicast and multicast tables are created automatically. The VRF membership of each interface dictates which forwarding table to use. Built into the Nexus product line, there are already predefined VRFs. The first VRF is a management VRF. This VRF is for management purposes only. Only the Management 0 interface can be in the Management VRF, and the Management 0 cannot be assigned to any other VRF. The second VRF is the default VRF. All other interfaces by default are in the default VRF. This is the default routing context for all show commands, and all of the routing protocols run in the default VRF context unless other VRF contexts are specified. This is similar to the iOS global routing table. It is important to remember to define your VRF context before you apply it to an interface. It is also important to remember that when you make an interface part of a different VRF, it erases all of the layer 3 configuration and it has to be reapplied. Nexus has made it very easy for management and troubleshooting of VRFs. You can actually go into a routing context mode, or you can actually set the scope of a VRF for all of the show and the executive commands. By default, the CLI uses the VRF default. So if you are just using the default CLI, you must specify which VRF you want to perform the command in. For instance, if you want to ping out of the management interface, you have to specify the IP address you would like to ping and then the VRF management. If you'd like to see the routing table or the ARP table, the same rules apply. However, on the right-hand side, if you'll notice, we can set the routing context to VRF management. And then every command we run, the switch will assume that we want to use VRF management. VRFs are a very powerful tool that can be used in many ways in today's data centers. You need to at least be familiar with the management VRF and the default VRF and how to use those to troubleshoot and manage your device. Please join me for the next lesson, Introduction to Fabric Path.